This is a fly called the Unsinkabeetle. My mom wanted to name it the Unsinkable Molly Brown, and I told her no.
That's a big brown bro!
Back in the saddle, here in the old studio. There's a lot of new going on here. As you can see, I'm playing with the Dyna King. I've been really impressed with the new jaw on this, so you'll see this a little bit more in some videos. I'm just kind of playing with a bunch of different vices. The other thing is this hook. Look at this hook. A cool classic dry fly look, bigger eye. These are the new Mustad Alpha Point Classic Dries. They've been out for a little bit, but I've been really impressed with how they perform. Really sharp, chemically sharpened hook. But anyway, all this new stuff, and we're going to do a classic fly. It's been around for a while, the Unsinkabeetle. This is just a standard dry fly hook. Sometimes you need a little heavier wire to get this to sit right, but this one does it just right. Anyway, I'm just going to take some 140 denier-ish thread and wrap that down the hook shank and a little bit down the bend. This fly is going to go a little bit down the bend. But the idea here is it's going to be a lot of foam. I was helping my mom remodel her house once, and I was kind of developing this fly, and she wanted to name it the Unsinkable Molly Brown. And so I listened to her and named it the Unsinkabeetle. Just kidding, she's still mad at me. Anyway, I'm going to take a piece of 2 mil foam and I'm going to cut it roughly the width of the hook gap. And if you use longer scissors to cut these strips, they'll be a little straighter. I don't even know what scissor that is, but it's got a long blade on it. So I'm going to start about right here, about 2 eye lengths back, and I'm just going to trap this foam down with a few turns, and then cinch it down. And as I wrap back, I'm going to kind of pull the foam a little bit tight. I want to compress this body, and as you can see, I'm going to wrap down a little bit down the bend of the hook, and then just right back up. So this is going to be our shell of the Unsinkabeetle, and then the body is created by taking 1 mil foam, cutting it relatively thin, and we're just going to wrap that to create some segmentation. I'll show you how to do that. These scissors are fun to cut foam with. All right, so I'm going to take this cocoa colored foam and just wrap that forward. You can change the colors on this as much as you want, but this is just kind of a natural version of this. Take your foam up to the front, and then you're just going to take this foam and wrap it, kind of pulling a little bit tight, but not really, and we're going to wrap it on top of itself. I just caught the hook there. That's fine because it's going to be under the foam. And I'm going to go about to right there. And when I tie this off, watch this, I can make a wrap fully around that last turn of foam that I did and cinch it down. And that locks that all in. I can even grab this foam and just break it, but I'm not going to, because last time I did that, it screwed it all up. There. Crisis averted, Brig. And let it be known, I've talked for like 2 to 3 minutes now without disparaging Brigham. So shout out to me. Brigham, you got to wake up when I say that kind of stuff about you. See, guys? I'm trying to be nice. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of super glue and just paint it over the top of this body and pull this piece of foam down right here. So as you can see, we have a little segmented body here. And from here, I'm going to move my thread up to the eye, pull my foam forward this way, and trap that down, and I'm just going to bind all of this down now. All right, and if it rotates around on the hook on you, no big deal. All right, so we're good right there. The next step is we're going to put some wing material on this. So the wing material I like to use on this is just ultra dry yarn from Fulling Mill. And I'm going to grab probably 2 full strands of it. And the way that I like to tie this in is I'm going to take the whole strand and place it on about like this. Let's see, I'll do a few turns. So see how that angles that wing back and to the side. And I'm going to just fold the other one over and then just wind my thread back up to it. So there I have a split wing. And the wings are going to be about, I'll show you, about that long. So as you can see, splays out just a little bit, adds a lot of buoyancy to the fly. But that's kind of a cool way to do some wings. At this point, we're going to take some dubbing. We're going to wrap back to the wings. And I really like this Fulling Mill Ultra Dry Dub. This is the hare's ear color. And it just has a lot of bugginess without sacrificing buoyancy. In fact, it's very buoyant. So this is a dubbing that has the ultra dry yarn shredded up into it. So, and we're just going to make, a not too bulky of a thorax. And if you need more thread or need more dub, get more dub. There are no dub police in here. Dub it however you want, as long as it looks good. Right, Brig?
Right.
He said right, guys. He said right. See, we're getting along. Good job, Brigham.
Thanks.
I really appreciate your engagement in this video. You're doing a great job, buddy.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Brigham. It's just a pleasure working with you, buddy. All right, let's get going here. So, yeah, as you can see, look at how cool that thorax looks. So that looks like it's just straight up hare's ear dub, but that's actually a very buoyant dubbing. Split my wings a little bit, and at this point, I'm going to take this portion and fold it over. Okay. And I'm going to pull this foam up and trim it relatively flush. Okay. So there we've got kind of a start of the end of the fly. All right, what we're going to do now is I'm going to make some cool little eyes on this fly pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to cross it over the top, do a few turns, and then cross it back over the other side. And what that does is it makes beady little eyes that this guy can see with. Let me see if I can get those more proportionate. So again, let's make that straight. I'm going to just pull that over, go around the hook a couple times, and then I'm going to go back across. There we go. One's a little bigger than the other, but I think we can work with that. All right, couple other final steps. Step one, we're going to throw some rubber legs on this. And so I just take the whole leg, run one of these along one side, just with a couple turns like that. And then I'm going to fold it over in the front. Do a couple turns. And you've seen on these flies, you can, like the head and dubbing sequence, you can change up. I think I do it different most times, but at the end of the day, it's going to turn out right. And then because this fly does sit pretty flush, I do like to put a little indicator on it. So I'm just going to take some yellow 2 mil foam. I like to make the indicators real skinny, and also to make it a little more aerodynamic, I'm going to cut this to a point. Let's see, and then I'm going to singe it. Hopefully I can find a lighter. Oh yes, it's the plain white lighter, basic lighter, no poop colored lighter this time. All right, so I've just basically singed that into a little triangular point, and I'll throw that bad boy in there just like that and trim it out. And now, let's see, I'm going to trim the legs, and we're just going to put a little bit of dubbing in between the legs now. And on this one, you want your dubbing to be relatively sparse. It's real easy to bulk it up here. So we're just kind of covering up those thread wraps. About like that. Okay, oh wait, we didn't even cover it up. Turn it upside down and make sure you really get it. See how my dubbing noodle kind of came undone when I unwound it? No big deal, just tighten it back up. And let's see, now we got it. Now we got it. So at the end of this fly, I'm just going to catch this same track here. And I did have a few people say, well, you know, the fish is going to bite down and that's going to break your thread and it's going to ruin the whole fly. It's so far down in that foam and it's double layered. It's I haven't had any issues with it, but I guess that certainly could happen. You know, if we're living in a world of worst case scenarios, absolutely. And drat, you're going to have to go to your desk and tie another one. Man, not even worth it. All right, so I'm going to get the legs out of the way, throw a quick whip finish on there. That's another cool part. That eye makes it really hard to crowd the eye. All right, so to finish this up, I'm going to push all the legs forward. And if I do this, because you can see there's a little gap between the front leg and the back leg. So if I fold that back leg forward with the front legs and I trim them all flush, it will make the back leg a little bit longer than the front leg automatically, just like that. So that's how I like to fish it. That's how I like to tie it. You can tie them in longer shanks. You can tie them in all kinds of colors, but this fly has caught a bunch of fish for me over the years. Oh wait, Brigham, stop! It's not going to work unless I do this. Put little eyeballs on it, just like that. Now it will work.